What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Said It, ashsaidit.com, ashsaidit.com. Welcome back to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for downloading the show. Yes, we are on the heels of 250,000 streams. No, excuse me. We're on the heels of 500,000 streams. Let me correct myself. All right, we're nearly at 500,000 streams worldwide. And today I have been privileged to be joined by the multifaceted singer, songwriter, actress, speaker, the wonderful Miss Rhonda Ross Kendrick. Rhonda.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic, thank you. I'm doing great.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good now that I'm chatting with you. So, Rhonda, let everybody know, where are you from? Where do you represent?
Well, I live in Harlem, and I represent Harlem. I love it here. I've been here 20 years with my husband and my son, and it feels so good to just, still be in this neighborhood, in this culture. It's changed so much, but we're holding on.
Okay. Cool. All right, Rhonda. So, being the daughter of legendary Diana Ross and, of course, music legend Berry Gordy, was there a lot of pressure for you to enter the industry?
I don't know that there was particular pressure for me to enter the industry. I think, like what happens with a lot of families, is that what I witnessed all of my life was the industry. I was raised by artists, by independent contractors. I was raised by people who loved what they did. And to this day, they still do. My mother's 73. My father is about to be 88. And neither one of them is retired, don't know what the word means. Still out there working, not because they need to for any financial reasons, but because they love it, because their souls are connected to it, because it's not just a job for them, it's really their life, right? So I was raised in that, and I knew from an early age that I wanted to pursue the arts. I didn't know in what capacity. I didn't know if I was going to be a writer or a singer or an actress or where it was going to show up. But I knew that I wanted to express myself through the arts. I wanted to practice the arts. I wanted to connect with people through the arts. I knew that I loved the stage and I loved performing. It's interesting. I was a gymnast growing up. I was an athlete in a lot of areas, but I was a gymnast. And I noticed around high school that the competition didn't thrill me, but being on the stage thrilled me. Like I didn't get stage fright, but when it was time to compete, it was really like hard. So competition wasn't my thing. It was really a connection with an audience, and that alignment that fueled me. So I knew I wanted to be an artist. I pretty much knew I wanted to be a performing artist. And so I didn't feel pressure to go into it. Once I was in it, or once I showed some talent as a young person, the pressure came then. That's when the managers and the producers and the publicists and all of them said, "Oh, wait a second. We got Diana Ross's daughter, Berry Gordy's daughter. She can hold a tune. Let's go do this thing. Let's go make her into the next ... right? At that time, Whitney was big and Mariah was big, and let's try to figure out how she's the next whomever, the next Diana, the next Whitney, the next whatever." And I knew instinctively, even as a teenager, I knew that I didn't want to go that route. I knew that, again, because I had seen my parents, that if this was going to be something that I continued for my entire life, which I wanted it to be, right? I want this art to take me from all the way to my grave. If that is the case, then it has to be something that's authentic. It has to be something that I would do for free. Right? It has to be something that wakes me up in the morning excited to get back to it and lulls me to sleep at night. Like, it has to be that. It can't be a costume I'm wearing. It can't be something that some manager created for me that I'm pretending at or acting at. So I knew that at a young age, and I, discarded and wasn't interested in the interest that came to me to try to make me into something. I knew I just had to find my time and take my time to find myself and what authentically I had to say musically and artistically, who I was and what I wanted to explore and all of that. And, and that exploration has taken me through the years. That really has formed my life and what people have seen in my music and in the acting I've done and all that, me finding myself, right? So that I don't have to just be in somebody else's box.
Yeah. Answered perfectly. I love it. All right. Who would you say, outside of your parents and your immediate family connection, who would you say has been a heavy influence on your career as an entertainer?
Well, there's two people that are huge influences on me, and one of them I'm married to. So, so when you say outside of my family, but so when I was high school and college, I was still struggling to some extent with the concept of, but you're Diana Ross's daughter. Aren't you supposed to wear, a glamorous gown? And, aren't you supposed to sing like this and sing about that? And so I was still making my way through that. And but I was falling in love with jazz. And one of the jazz vocalists that I fell in love with was Abby Lincoln. And if you or your listeners don't know Abby, you really should look her up. In the 50s, they were making her into the Black Marilyn Monroe. I mean, she's gorgeous. She had figure for days. And they were making her into that. And as the 60s dawned, she met Max Roach and found her socialism and her political voice and her pride in being a black woman and her responsibility in being a black woman and what she says and does and how she carries herself. And she rebuked all of that kind of Maryland stuff they were trying to put her into, and her music became much more social. She began writing her music much more so, and working with her then husband Max Roach, who was a drummer, and doing political work and social work. And then when I found her, which was in the mid-90s, she was still very much herself, very unique, very authentic to her own road as an artist, and a poet, really just a beautiful, beautiful songwriter. And so I fell in love with her music. I went to see her in concert, and her musical director and pianist at the time was a man named Rodney Kendrick, who became my husband. So between the two of them, they really both took me in and under their wings and just said, you have a voice, a perspective, you have insight, you have a different way of seeing the world that is important and is relevant, and you don't have to just sing standards in a pretty dress, right? Right. You can have this other road as an artist, and they both really, really took me. My husband, we've been married. We just celebrated 20 years of marriage, and yes, and we're still having that conversation. We're still working together musically. We just came off a European tour together. We're about to create we're working on new music for a new record together. But it's always, what is real for you? What do you want to say? How do you want to say it? And really following my internal compass as opposed to whatever is out there saying that I'm supposed to be. And it's not always about, my lineage. There's a lot of you're supposed to be's that we get bombarded with, all of us in our lives, from society, from other family members, from whatever, from sometimes our spouses, our kids, our siblings. And so it was Abby Lincoln. If you were to ask me the two people who really have had the biggest influence outside of my immediate family, my mother and my father, I would say my husband, Rodney Kendrick, incredible jazz pianist and artist and composer, and Abby Lincoln, poet and songwriter and activist. And it was big for me, and I still I lean on my husband in real time, and I lean on Abby spiritually.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, congratulations to you and your husband for over 20 years of marriage. That's a beautiful thing. And, I know it's definitely not easy, but y'all make it work. That's beautiful.
You know what it is? It is work, but it's like a good work. It's like, like raising your kid or tending a garden or something. Like, it's work. Your hands are tired. Your back hurts. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't eat all day. Like it's you've been in the sun. Like it's work, but it's a work that you are excited to do, and you look at what it is, what is blooming from it, and you're proud of it. So I feel really, really proud of what we've built, Rodney and I, musically, and personally, in our marriage, in our friendship. I'm really proud of it, and we work at it. But you know what else? I'm also really, I got a good one,
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
hey, praise that. Everybody ain't able, I know you know.
Yeah, I mean, I there was a lot of that, and I picked a good one. But,
yeah, you did.
but even so, we work on being communicative. We work on loving each other, being affectionate. Like, we don't take each other for granted, and it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
It's easy, especially now we got an 8-year-old. Like, everything revolves around him.
Mm-hmm.
We're homeschooling him. Our lives are busy. We got careers. We're trying to keep every ball in the air. You can easily start to take each other for granted, or not be as kind, or not be as affectionate. So we are aware of that. We stay conscious of that. That sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
Now, I recall when you were on a daytime soap opera in the 90s, Another World.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing you on that, and because that was the whole buzz, this is Diana Ross's daughter, there's so many things going on. But I remember seeing you and having a sense of pride, because you were one of the first Black females that I had seen on television that looked like me. And, and your character was no holds bar. You're not finna get anything over on Soda,
That's right. And Tony Burrell.
You're not about to do that thing. So I just wanted to say thank you for portraying us in just a beautiful light, and a true light, because it was just admiration watching you, seeing you on screen, and knowing that, okay, yeah, she reminded me of my sister. She reminded me of my cousin. It was a very relatable character.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so as things were progressing for you in the acting realm, did you come to a crossroads where it was acting versus music?
I would say no.
Okay.
Not as dramatic as that.
Okay.
In my mind, and in my world, which I'm doing everything I can not to, let them take it away from me. But in my world, I'm an artist. I practice the arts, and my art comes through all types of forms. So my art comes through acting and singing and songwriting and writing for the stage. I'm finishing a play right now, a solo piece, a theatrical piece called Relativity. I'm dramaturging another piece that my friend is just birthing right now. She just went to Austin to do the first performances of it, and so I'm an artist. I write poetry. I draw. I'm playing the guitar. Do you know what I mean? Like it comes.
Yeah.
I want it to be able to come through all the different ways it wants to come through. One of the things that I see it's always been the case, and maybe it's less the case now, but it's still too much, which is that the industry really wants to categorize you. Are you an actress or are you a singer? Are you a jazz singer or are you an R&B singer? I mean, it's ridiculous, and I just think it's ridiculous, and I really stand that I get to be all of it. I'm all of it, and I'm all of it at the same time. And so the only reason I'm singing right now more than I'm acting is simply because, truthfully, because of those categories in the industry that, that want to kind of put stuff. And I just said, you know what, I don't have time for that. Like, I need to go do what I need to do. So I have more autonomy in the music. I have more power. So I do that because I can control it more. I'm not asking a casting agent to ask a, casting director to ask the director to ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got more control. But I'm an actress too, and I love acting. And and I'm a dramatic actress, and I'm a comedic actress. Like, I'm all of those things. And I'm still believing that will come back around for me. It is already here, mostly in the theater. But, in terms of television and film. But one of the things that Abby Lincoln used to say to me is the industry, the film industry, they always come for the singers. And the singers are good. I mean, look how good Jill Scott is. You know what I mean? Look how good Lauryn Hill is. Look how good, you know what I mean? Like, the singers, look at Janelle Monáe. Like,
they're
what?
doing it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, oh no, the singers though, but the singers.
The singers are doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many. There's Queen Latifah. She's a rapper, but she's also a singer. But I mean, there's so many that you can look to that are in the music industry, even whether it be rap or not, that can so easily make that transition back to film and television. And Abby used to always say that, they come for the singers. They come for the singers. They came for Dorothy Dandridge. They came for her. They came for, they come for the singers. And so where I am right now is, I am 46. I'm 46 years old. I'm a wife and a mother, and I'm an artist. And what I want to do is do my art. And what I don't want to do is go to the industry and beg them to recognize my worth.
Right.
That I'm not spending. I spent some time doing that in my 20s. I'm not spending any more time doing that. So I'm going to do what I do and do it to the best of my ability and believe that they going to notice it and come over and come pick me back up again and say, oh, what about this? What about that? But in the meantime, I'm doing what I do. I'm writing my songs. Right. I'm recording my records. I'm going on tour. I'm writing my screenplays, my stage plays. I'm doing what I do.
Yeah, you're doing what you got to do.
Yeah. I will say this. I do think that we as artists, and it's easier now than it's ever been, but we as artists need to make our own way. I think that we have a tendency, especially as actors, we have a tendency to wait for somebody to approve of us.
Right.
The whole audition process and all of that, when we can be, writing our own stuff, and especially, like I said, the information age, we could be filming our own stuff. We could, all of that, podcasts, all kinds of stuff. And so that's where my head is. My head is, I'm just not about waiting for nobody.
Exactly. You're out there, you're doing what you need to do. Because I'm going to tell you, Rhonda, people laughed at me when I told them I was going to do the podcast. They were like, oh, that's cute or whatever. You're going to do a podcast. It's not going to go anywhere. When I tell you, when I saw those numbers, and it said almost 500,000 streams worldwide, places I've never even been to before are downloading the show now. Right now.
Well, nobody knows what you are capable of. Nobody.
Exactly.
Truthfully, even you don't know what you're capable of. So nobody knows what you're capable of, and we have a tendency, but we do ourselves a disservice by listening to think somebody else knows what we're. Yeah, nobody knows. All we can do is go for it, and believe in it ourselves.
That's
and just
right.
go for it.
That's right. In this crazy world, Rhonda, all the noise that's going on all over, how do you find peace at the end of the day?
Well, it's just
I
work.
know.
Now that's work. I'm a meditator.
Okay.
I'm a journaler. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I write in my journal. I meditate. My meditations, I quiet my mind, but mostly I remind myself that so much of the life that I'm living, of the life I'm experiencing, of the world that I'm in, is dictated by me and my thoughts and my beliefs, similar to what we were just saying, right? You know, that I'm in this moment safe, I'm loved. I remind myself, what happens is we watch the news and there's so much, and it is terrifying.
Yeah.
And we think, we feel the fear as if it's in our apartment right now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's this, and it's not to say that we shouldn't be empathetic or helpful. It's not to say that, but it's to keep, like you said, find your peace. We cannot be helpful until we find our own foundation and keep our feet on the ground, right? So how do I do that? I remind myself that I'm okay right now. Everything's okay right now. All is well. And I'm loved, and I love, and I meditate in that space. I meditate on appreciation, on what is going well, even if all things are not going well. I focus on what is going well. If 8 things are going poorly and 2 are going well, I put my focus right there. You know, so that I try to do those kinds of things. And then when I can do that, I can get clear about how and where I can help my family, myself, my family, my friends outside of that. What I like to think about is if me and someone else, or me and a whole bunch of people, are walking on the edge of a slippery cliff, right? And somebody loses their foot. Do they need... Who do they want to help them? The person who is also losing their footing, or the person whose feet are stable?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So my job is to keep my feet stable, and then I help. So it's not a selfish thing,
right.
But I'm not of help to anybody when my feet are also slipping. Right?
Yeah.
So it's that idea. I try to remind myself of my own, like you said, my own peace, my own stability, my own connection to my own source, how loved I am, how much I love, those kinds of things, how appreciative I am for the things that are going right. And those things keep my footing stable. So then I can become really clear about where I actually am useful and how I'm useful, right? As opposed to we're all slipping.
Right.
Yeah. So that's that. You know, I write to find that clarity. I meditate to find that clarity. I walk to find that clarity in the city. I'm a big walker. I get into nature to find that clarity. Yeah. I write my songs, truthfully, to find that clarity. You know, many of my songs come from that place. Ain't nobody's job to make you happy. Nobody's job to pull you through. Ain't nobody born to give you sunshine. That light's inside of you. Ain't nobody gonna seek your freedom. Your heart will lead you through. You're the one to choose how you're feeling. Nobody's business if you do. Right?
That's right.
And if I could just jump to the bridge of that song, that's my song, Nobody's Business. Guiding your mind to a higher degree is not always easy to do. But if you try to, the power's inside you. If you can command it, then nothing can stand in your way. Right? So I was a little early, so.
No, that was perfect. That was spot on.
But it's that concept of, you know, you have more control over your own peace, your own stability, your own power than you realize. And once you're clear about that, then you can reach out and help anybody. But if you are slipping around in your own peace, stability, and power, then you're not helpful to anybody. Right?
This is true. Very, very true. Rhonda, with your experience and everything that has surrounded your career, your family, your life as a whole, what advice would you offer to any person today that says, hey, I've got an idea, I've got a dream, but I'm not sure how I'm going to execute it?
Okay, so I have, I'm going.
We got time. Go ahead.
I will get back to your question. I just want to start somewhere else. We homeschool our son,
Right.
8 years old. And the other day he was doing a reading comprehension thing, right? So he had to read this story. And the story was pretty much how this girl was going to market to sell some eggs, and she got so excited about the money she was going to make that she ended up dropping the eggs and they broke, right? And so they were like, what's the moral of the story? And so he's looking through the different choices, there's multiple choice, and the choice that's the correct choice was don't count your chickens before they hatch. So I said to him, okay, here's the deal. I said the moral of that story, the answer they want you to say is don't count your chickens before they hatch. But I'm letting you know that's wrong. It's wrong. You've got to count your chickens. Count them. I said count them, because when you count them, that helps them hatch quicker, right? So yeah, that's how I teach myself, right? So right. So what I said to him was, and what I would say to anybody who says, I have an idea, but I don't know how I'm going to do it, I would say, focus on the idea. Focus on how it makes you feel. Focus on why you want it, why you want to bring this idea to the world, how it's going to help the world, how it's going to help the people, right? Like live in that. Go to sleep on it. Wake up in it. Bask in it. Smile about it. Dream about it, right? And that is absolutely what I do day in and day out with anything that I'm wanting in my life, from something personal for my son or my family to my career, all of that. I bask in how the deliciousness of what it's going to be when it's here. But I bask in it as if it's here, as if it is here. I live that thing as if I walk that thing as if it is here, right? It is already done, because it is already done. Yeah. Once you have the idea of it, like 90%, it's already done. You've already planted it. You just haven't seen the buds come up yet. But that doesn't mean the plant ain't there.
Say it.
You know, we have this thing, well, I don't see no leaves. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that this thing isn't germinating and growing underneath the soil. And it's important that you believe in it underneath the soil, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the concept of walking by faith, right? That's the concept of that I believe it is happening, right? And I'm walking as if, I'm living as if, and really as if. That's also the key. Not some half, well, I know, but we can, you know what I mean? Like, no, like this thing is real. And then what happens, because then the next question is, okay, I got that, you know, I'm living it in my head, but I still, you know, what happens is you get clarity. You get instincts about what the next move is, right? You get instincts of, you know what, maybe I'll email that person, or maybe I'll ask that person, or you'll be walking down the street and see somebody and be like, oh man, that's so-and-so. Let me go, right? These things you become clear and aware and able to move on all these things that are happening around us, because you're so focused on where you are wanting to be. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that is really what I would say, and that is what I do right now, because the bottom line is you can focus on either one. You can focus on how broke you are, or how irritated you are, or how, you know, your boss ain't right, or your husband ain't right, or you know what I mean? You can focus on all that, and then that's where you're living, right? Yeah. And then that's where you're getting all instincts about all that stuff, and not about this thing that you're wanting. Yeah. You know? So that is what I do. That is absolutely, it's a visualization, but I live it, I feel it as if it is now. And I kid you not, ideas come, and then the timing of it is right. It's like, you know, you'll say to yourself, you know what, maybe I should just call that 800 number I saw, right? Let's just call it. And that'll be the time when the right person picks up, right? It's that. It's that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say. And there is work to do. Like there is emails and study and writing and, there's work. But if the work is inspired from that place of clarity and that place of you already living as if it's here, it's a whole different, it takes you on a whole different path. It takes you on a completely different path.
I say it all the time on my podcast. It's like, you have to believe it in order to achieve it.
You must believe it.
You have to.
But believe it. Like that.
Yeah, people, for real believe it.
But I've been, so ever since I gave that lesson to my son, and he'll be like, Mama, I counted my chickens and it still didn't happen. And so I'll be like, yeah, but baby, first of all, give it some time. Don't take score too quick either. That's like the plant. Yeah. You plant it, and a week from now you say, yeah, but I still don't have a plant. But just because it takes 2 weeks to pop out the ground, you know what I mean? Like, give it a minute. Like don't take score too quick. We do. We take score really, really quick. And that's number one. And number two, it's not just a belief with your intellectual mind. It's as if your whole body has to. You have to be believing it so much that people think you crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I tell people, you may be the only one that sees the vision. You may be the only one that sees it.
You are often the only one who sees the vision.
Most of the time.
Yep.
Most of the time, and that's all that matters.
and that is all. It's everything you need.
Yeah.
It is all. It is all. And not to scare the people, but if you're focusing and believing in the negative, that's all you need too.
You're speaking to somebody. All right,
that's
Pastor.
all you need too, right?
Yeah.
And that's taking you down a road that nobody can save you from either. Like, you need to really, our thoughts are powerful, and that is a true responsibility that we have to ourselves. It is powerful.
It is.
We don't really, many of us, and often, we don't give it as much credit as, we put anything on the television, we talk about anything with our friends, we think about anything in our, I've tried really hard, not to imagine the worst, right? Imagine the worst for myself, for my family. I don't sit around. Imagination is powerful.
It is.
It's powerful.
It
know,
is.
and so I, if something scares me, and it does, the administration of this country scares me. Yeah. Okay, I'm in New York. We just had, a guy in a truck mow down people yesterday downtown. Like, that scares me, right? Like, all this stuff scares me. So I can sit around and imagine the worst, or I can take that fear and focus on what I want. What do I want? I want us to be safe. I want people to feel good and feel at peace and run on the streets by the water and know that they're okay. Like, I want people to not be so angry, and I want right? I want our country to treat other countries right. So people aren't so angry. I want. So I'm going to focus on all the stuff I want and start believing that so much that I can feel it inside me.
Absolutely.
So it's not about putting your head in the sand, but it is choosing which one you're going to focus on, right?
That's
right.
Rhonda Ross Kendrick. Rhonda, where can people see you next? Where can audiences check you out?
Thank you. Well, I have my website is The Rhonda Ross, TheRhondaRoss.com. The Rhonda Ross, and that has my everything, my tour schedules, my records, my, photographs and blog and all that kind of stuff. It's got all that stuff on there. And I'm also really active on Instagram, which is also The Rhonda Ross. This is The Rhonda Ross everywhere. Facebook, Twitter. So people can find me on all those platforms. And in terms of where they can find me next, tonight I'm in New York, so tonight I am the co-mistress of ceremonies for an incredible organization called Hearts of Gold. It's me and Soledad O'Brien. We do it every year. And this organization helps homeless mothers and children. So heartsofgold.org. The gala is tonight, but people can go on and see what we do as an organization and support and donate and all of that. That would be fantastic. And then in less than 2 weeks, I'm going to be part of a hurricane relief concert. Melba Moore is on that. My husband, Rodney Kendrick, will be on it. Chris Jasper is on it. And we're going to come together and raise some funds for the Caribbean, for Puerto Rico, for the U.S. Virgin Islands, and all the other islands that were affected by Irma and Maria. So we're doing that up in Lehman College, which is in the Bronx in New York. And we'll do that on the 12th of November, but all of this is on my website. And then after that, I'm touring again. I'm doing what I do, taking the music around. And just FYI, a lot of people, ask me what my music is. And I like it ranges between jazz and neo-soul. But my lyrics are what we're talking about today. This is what I think about all day. This is what I write about. This is how I find my way through, right? This is how I find my way through. And so what I have found is that listeners come to my music from all genres, right? People who only love reggae have come to me and said, I only love reggae, but, you're not doing reggae, but let me tell you something. I love your stuff because it's the people who come to my music, people who are looking for this, right? Who are looking for this kind of talk, this kind of conversation, but in music, right? Not just silly words that mean nothing, but music that helps inspire and helps kind of strengthen and embolden and bring you up. That's what I go to music for. Yeah. All kinds of music, again, all genres, but I go to it for that, for something that's going to help me to live, to get through the day, Yes. And that's the kind of music I write.
All right. Rhonda, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for all your efforts to putting out good, positive vibes. It's not even about picking a side or whatever. Just putting out good music in all different mediums that you do it and all the different ways that you've touched people's lives and you've helped to elevate and enrich people. Thank you for what you've done and continue to push forward because you're awesome. You're amazing. You are the superstar, darling. Yes, we do that. Yes,
well,
do
I
it.
appreciate this platform and that you are, that you exist and that you are doing this and giving the people something. We need it. We need it.
We need more good, positive vibes. Yeah. So definitely
I appreciate you.
Keep pushing forward. And thank you all for continuing to support the movement, which is ashsaidit.com. Yes, 500,000 streams worldwide. Right on the heels of it, keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me, just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. Because that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice. It's cool. It's fun. But real life is so much better. It's so much better. I'll talk to y'all later.